My family settled here in 1850. I'm a fifth-generation Floridian. My Florida is wild, unspoiled, and rich in history, wildlife, and the outdoor tradition. Growing up in a rural area with such an abundance of woods and water, hunting and fishing was naturally part of everyday life for me. The drive to seek that next level set in, and Florida Outdoor Experience was born. We offer everything Florida has as far as hunting and inshore fishing goes, from alligators, ducks, whitetails, hogs, and our specialty, the Osceola turkey, which is only found in a certain part of Florida. The goal of Florida Outdoor Experience is to not only offer the hunter or fisherman the opportunity to take or catch a trophy, but to show them a part of Florida few have ever seen, old Florida, true wild Florida.
I'm Drummond, and I'm an outfitter.
You know, I'm really excited to be back in Florida. This is where I started hunting, and Gray is a fifth-generation Floridian. And when we think of Florida, we think of the wild Florida, what it used to be and what parts of it still are. A lot of people think of Miami or Daytona Beach, so it's really neat hunting with somebody that loves Florida for what it used to be and what parts of it still are.
Today we have Fred Eichler coming into camp. I've known Fred for a couple of years. I finally got him down here to hunt with me, and I am pumped about it. I can't wait to show him what we do down here. By far, he's the best bow hunter that I know.
Well, I rolled in the afternoon, and Gray said, let's start turkey hunting tomorrow, but tonight, let's go out for some hogs.
I think our best option, what we need to do is, since we have the truck and we can cover a lot more ground, we're going to try to slip up as closely as we can to some different fields. Since you are going to be shooting a crossbow in the hog hunt, we got a little bit more distance, so we can get one within 30 yards for it.
I like the way you think.
Good.
No, I love just seeing the property.
Oh, that's a perfect little eating pig right there.
I think every hunter, we're all competitors to a degree. We enjoy getting out there and having that challenge, and most hunters start out using a gun, and then some of the hunters, I wouldn't say become bored, but they're looking for that next step, that next challenge, and that's usually picking up a bow, a compound bow, I should say, and then from that you go into traditional archery with the recurve, and it was no different with me. But I was still looking for that same thrill that I had when I was younger and just getting into hunting.
We've got a lot of ground to cover, so let's go check some other fields.
And I found as I was starting to take more and more friends along on my properties and guide them and take them hunting and seeing them have some accomplishment or success, and knowing that I played a part in that, I fed off of that energy and I enjoyed that. Finally, I just decided, why not just start a business with Florida Outdoor Experience, and that way I could do it all the time. And so I really, truly get an enjoyment out of watching other people fulfill a dream.
What do we have, about 50 yards? Yeah, we were at 52, and then as we got a little closer, they moved further away. That was cool. Yeah.
You know, hog hunting was an absolute great way to start the trip.
What makes an Osceola turkey, there's 4 types of turkeys in the United States. There's the Merriams, the Easterns, the Rios, and the Osceolas. A lot of folks, they enjoy going around to each of the regions and getting what they call the Grand Slam, and that's taking a turkey from each region. As you can see in Florida, it's very thick in a lot of places. They tend to not be as vocal as other turkeys, which by that I mean gobble, or we like to say talk. So that tends to make them a little bit more difficult to hunt. They're a little more leery, I would say.
Just saw my first turkeys in the morning. 2 Osceola hens. Really cool. Came through the little opening there and came kind of trotting by the decoys and checked them out.
So the springtime, which our season in what's called the northern zone in Florida, starts the second week of March and lasts for 6 weeks towards the end of April. The best way I describe this is think of it as the rut. There's certain times of year a whitetail ruts, and he's very active in chasing the does and whatnot. And that's the Osceola this time of year. That's why it's so enjoyable to hunt them. You can call them in using a variety of different calls. The majority of the time we're always sitting with the client, but with Fred, you don't get much more of an accomplished hunter than that. Plus he's using a recurve bow, which takes up quite a bit of space, and he's having to hunt out of a ground blind, so he needs as much room as possible, and he's sitting by himself. And while he's doing that, I'm strategizing for the next hunt or doing odds and ends, trying to catch up. It's probably the hardest part of my job when I'm not actually there with the hunter participating, hands-on. It drives me nuts. As soon as I drop Fred off and while he's sitting there, my mind's just racing about the next set, the next plan. What are we gonna do next?
Oh, there we go.
That's him. He has to be roosting somewhere near here. He's a scrapper. He's missing, I think, a quarter of his fan.
The Outfitters is brought to you by America's best-selling truck for 40 straight years, Ford F-Series, built Ford tough.
As an outfitter, you always have to assume for the worst until you pick up the client. So here we have plan A, plan B, plan C, all the way to plan W. We're always trying to stay one step ahead, so that next afternoon or that next morning, we're ready to go. We're not having to do something last minute. We've done that legwork. We've got a unique group of guides here, very diverse. The majority of our hunting guides are also licensed fishing captains. It takes a team to make this work. It's not a one-man show. We have Lacey Kelly, who is an accomplished fly fishing woman and an accomplished hunting guide. Al is the big boy of the group, but Al specializes also in our gator hunts. He is one tough individual, but as tough as his appearance is on the outside, he is one of the kindest, big-hearted person you've ever met in your life. Chris Whitman, he's also a charter captain, specializing in inshore fishing, tarpon fishing. He's got a work ethic that is just second to none. Our outfit company is located outside of Chieftain, Florida, and it's a very rural area. It's predominantly agriculture. The properties that we hunt on has a variety of terrain. We have flooded cypress swamps, oak hammocks, longleaf pine trees on sandy hills with large ponds scattered inadvertently all throughout the property. It's a variety of terrain. It shocks a lot of people that come here, even Floridians that have lived here all their life. Some of them don't even realize that Florida has this. It's very similar to the way it was over 100 years ago when my ancestors first came here.
Well, Gray had been having some great success. All his clients have been getting birds, and then the weather kind of moved in.
You as well as anybody knows what this rain will do. It'll bring them out to the field. So I think what we're going to do is put up a ground blind in corner of one of our fields and just see what happens. We'll probably see quite a few jakes.
Really? That's legal, so
it's perfectly legal.
The
cool thing about it is, as you know, jakes, they're fun to mess around with the call. They come in decoys. They can't stand it. They're kind of it's like a teenager.
Yep, I'm an opportunity hunter, so if I get an opportunity,
good, I like
I'm
that,
gonna hunt
man. That's my kind of hunter.
Thanks, man.
Good luck, okay?
Hey, appreciate it.
See you 7/7/15.
All right.
Shoot straight.
You know the old saying, some days a diamond, some days a stone?
Just need a beat.
I don't know what was going on. Everybody else is seeing gobblers. All I'm seeing is hens. Hens, hens, and more hens. It's like a hen party. Unfortunately, I don't have a hen tag, so I can't have a hen turkey sandwich. I need a gobbler if I'm gonna have a turkey sandwich. This is a huge meadow we're looking at. It's been planted, so it's got some agriculture in there, and it's drawn a lot of different animals in. Here's two big sandhill cranes standing out in the field, looking like little velociraptors because they're so tall. Really cool to see them. Well, I'm sitting in the turkey blind and it's starting to get late. I can only turkey hunt till sunset. So I'm about ready to start wrapping it up when I look out and here come some pigs trotting across the field. I think even though it's raining and misty and kind of nasty, I might be able to get out, put that one tree between me and the pigs, and try and sneak up on them. Just getting ready, and one pig spotted me. Man, that was awesome. What was really cool to me, and this is what I love about Florida, I'm in one spot and I've seen white-tailed deer, turkeys, 2 sandhill cranes, hogs, and an armadillo. Only in Florida are you gonna see something like that. You know what's really cool is Gray and all his guides, they've got a great relationship. He treats them all like family, and it's just a fun place to hang out and tell a lot of fun stories.
As if these birds aren't challenging enough to hunt, these first 2 weeks of the season, we've had a roller coaster with weather. We've had everything from temperatures in the upper 30s to temperatures in the low 90s and rain, wind, everything in between. So it's made it challenging, but we're getting it done. It's just taking a little longer so far this season.
Well, Gray had a different plan for me the next morning. He said, Fred, even though you saw 3 hens tonight, he said, I have seen some birds strutting in the southern meadow. He said, I'm gonna take you to another spot in the morning.
You know, whenever you're turkey hunting with the bow, you're in a blind, so that means you're not running and gunning, moving to the gobblers. It is a waiting game. It is an ambush. As soon as I drop Fred off and while he's sitting there, my mind's just racing about the next set, the next plan. What are we gonna do next?
You know, Gray's usually with his clients, calling for him and hunting with him, and it's killing him that I'm in there by myself.
The hardest part about dropping Fred off is that's just it. I don't hear from him. I don't know what's going on. You know, I'm not there to help him. I'm out of sight, out of mind.
I had just got done with a calling sequence and 2 hens pop out in front of me. They're cruising across the meadow. They get to a little dusting area where you could see where the birds had been scratching out and getting some sand in their feathers. And I keep looking for the gobbler. He's gotta be here. You know, I'm a pretty serious turkey hunter. When I'm turkey hunting, I'm just keeping my eye on the prize. I sit there and just stare at that window all day. That's not true. Sometimes I pass the time sleeping, playing video games on my phone. All right, I don't always stare out the window, but I do consider myself a pretty hardcore hunter. And Gray is a firm believer in you can't shoot them if you're not out there. Even though there's no gobbler, I look up and a white-tailed deer walks out into the field. This deer comes out and it's feeding, cruising around, and all of a sudden it looks up and I can see it sees the decoy. It starts walking and checking out the decoy, getting closer and closer, and I thought, maybe I'll lift the fan up. Let's see how it reacts. I pulled the string on that fan, the fan popped up on that turkey, and now the deer's like, its ears are up, it's alert, it's staring at this decoy, and it's pretty funny. And that's one of the things I love about hunting, is you get to experience all kinds of different things when you're sitting out in the woods. And to watch this deer get closer and closer to the decoy, and finally it took off. And I thought, probably not gonna see a whole lot of turkeys this morning. And that's exactly what happened. The rest of the morning, I had a big 0.
I'm going to use this opportunity to go check some other trail cameras at another piece of property, which I normally don't get to do.
So we got hens in here.
We do.
Oh, there we go.
That's him.
It looks like these birds probably been coming in from either over here or back here.
Definitely. He has to be roosting somewhere near here.
As late as it is.
Right, right.
Not all of our properties here are contiguous. I'm going to go to another property we have about 1.5 miles down the road. You always want to try to provide each client that comes in a fresh piece of property to hunt. So it was really promising what we saw on the trail cameras, but what really was exciting about this is we were able to slip around and glass some fields. And in one of the fields, There was what I consider a trophy tom, 3-4-year-old bird.
That bird, he's a scrapper. He's missing, I think, a quarter of his fan. It looks like he's about a 3-year-old. He's got about 11.5-inch beard.
And just as I was about to back out and walk back to the truck, 4 jakes walked into the road and just beelined it for the mature tom and his 3 hens. You know, it's just a cool sight. You never get tired of seeing that, you know. I mean, Mother Nature just in the wild, it's just cool. So we got a good next set for Fred if he needs it.
There's a reason why you'll find the all-new 2017 Ford Super Duty on King Ranch. They need its powerful towing, hauling, and payload capability every day. A stiffer frame and stronger suspension and axles give it a strength it takes to do the really big jobs. It's also got plenty of great features like up to 6 available cameras that give you a 360-degree view. Plus an available camera you can put on the back of a trailer, which comes in really handy when you have to work with and around thousands of head of cattle every day. And to make everything really convenient, all the video feeds into one screen. I guess you can see why King Ranch likes the all-new 2017 Ford Super Duty. The toughest, smartest, most capable Super Duty ever. This is the next level, and this is why Ford says we own work.
Ford F-Series has been America's go-to truck for 40 years. Now's your chance to join one of the great hunting or fishing outfitters you see here and win a new F-Series truck. Just visit thefordoutfitters.com and enter the Ford Go-To Sweepstakes. Well, Gray picks me up, asks how my morning went. I tell him all the stories about the hens, and he thought it was awesome. But poor Gray, and I've been there, from an outfitter standpoint, you're really trying to get your hunter an opportunity. He said, Fred, I saw more turkeys strutting around today.
We'd waited a couple of hours until they left the area, and then we slipped in quietly, put up the ground blind, brushed it in, and that's where we're putting Fred next if it works.
Now, Florida's hot. It's only about 1 o'clock when we get this blind done. Grace says, Fred, what do you want to do? I think you should get in the blind right now and stay until sunset. And I'm thinking, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's a pretty long day, but that sounds great. I'm in. I really want to try and get a shot at a turkey with my recurve. I'll stay in there all day. I haven't been there 30 minutes when I peek out the blind and I see a turkey. I grab my rangefinder. I'm kind of using it as binoculars. I look and it's a hen. I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. Gray was just here this morning, said that there were gobblers and jakes running up and down the road, and I see a hen. That just kind of figures. I'm thinking probably going to be another evening with a bunch of hens.
That's a good sign.
Inside the blind, it's kind of like a sauna. It was so hot, I took my hat off. I very rarely take my hat off. Matter of fact, I don't think my wife's ever seen me without my hat. Another bird shows up. Now I'm even more excited. That's got to be a gobbler. I pick up my rangefinder, it's another hen. Now, it's getting to the point of ridiculousness.
It's hot.
I see some more birds way down the road. I pick up my rangefinder one more time to check it out, and it almost fell out of the chair.
Just spotted 4 birds. Looks like one pretty good sized bird and a couple of jakes. Coming this way. Oh yeah.
It's a group of jakes. Jakes are younger gobblers. Basically, it's a young first-year bird. You know, I stopped hunting turkeys with a shotgun a long time ago. I enjoy the added challenge of trying to take one with a bow and arrow. I've got my bow up. All I need is a good shot at one of these birds. I slowly start to draw my bow, and something creaks. All of a sudden, the jakes are like, oh, something's not right. And they start to leave. I've got to draw and make a super quick shot on a walking jay. Got it. I gotta get going up. I got him marked. He's right here. He's right here. He just hit the tree right here. Here he goes. He's dropping. He's dropping. He's dropping. As I'm running toward the bird, I'm looking around going, okay, this is the tree it just fell out of. Right after I shot him, he went up in this tree, sat there for about 2 seconds and then crashed right over here. I saw him go down. He's gotta be over here somewhere. And when I look up, there's a feather from him. He came right down on me. Here's a feather from the bird I just shot. It was crazy. It's just one of those things that never happens. Look at that right there. Ooh, that was lucky. He started to go. Look at that beautiful bird. That is awesome. He's not the biggest bird in the swamp, but he's my bird.
We just got the news that Fred shot a turkey, so we no longer need plan B, C, or D. We've got it done, it sounds like, and that's the best news I've heard all day. I can't wait to talk to him and get the play-by-play. I truly get an enjoyment out of watching other people fulfill a dream.
I got one of your swamp birds, buddy.
Congratulations.
Awesome? Thank you, man. I'm so pumped. Dude, it was awesome.
Oh, sweet.
Oh, it was absolutely awesome.
I want to hear all about this.
Thank you, man. Dude, is that not beautiful?
Gorgeous. You know, I firmly believe that anytime you get a chance to maybe fulfill a dream or experience something that you've been wanting to participate in or accomplish,
Go get this guy cleaned up.
when you do that and you have some success with that, those moments stay with you forever. And I believe that's priceless.